Hey, what's up? It's me, Buffalo Staple. Yep, you know the guy. That guy, Buffalo Staple, that's me. And I'm here to talk about some songs. Just sipping on my black currant lem sip. Fucking hell, it's gross. I normally rate black currant as a flavor when it comes to like sweets. But mate, this you can't get through a sip without squirming, man. Like the lemon one is so much better. That one's still trash, but the black currant one is like a whole nother level of gross. Here we go, baby. The first record we're covering today is from UK-based singer-songwriter Nilüfer Yanya with the album Painless. This album has been getting some good reviews lately, I've been noticing. I'm quite grateful it came out. I'm really enjoying it. This record has been soundtracking the sunny weather that the UK has been seeing lately this month really nicely. This is a summery album. I can already see myself banging this shit out later in the year when we get those peak summer months. Yeah, this shit getting rinse. It's a mostly quite tame but regularly very catchy and soothing piece of guitar-driven, artful pop rock kind of music. The instrumentals, they're always really welcoming, friendly, and inviting. Like, look at the track Chase Me, for example. That's a simple track. Legit, bare bones instrumental. It's just drums, you got your bass line, you got your guitar. It's simple as hell. And it just maintains the same kind of loop throughout the whole track. But it doesn't need to do anything more than that. I love her vocal presence too. The way her voice sounds is tight as fuck. It kind of sounds like her voice is just beaming down from the sun. The way she plays with her voice, she puts like all these effects on it, like layers it up with different takes of her voice all playing simultaneously. It creates for some disorienting and like weirdly psychedelic kind of effects that mix really nicely with the laid back instrumentals. I feel like sometimes the sound palette can feel a little bit dry, a little bit tiring at points on this record in my personal opinion, so that's why I would say that maybe the full listen isn't quite as fulfilling as like a short burst when it comes to Painless. When it's the whole listen front to back, by the end I am finding myself a little bit drained, but the highs are really high. Generally, it's an album that puts a smile on my face every time. I think it's lovely. Next up, we got Charli XCX, Crash, the new album from Charli, a pop artist from the UK. Honestly, easily one of my personal favorite modern pop artists, without question. Her music, it quite often goes in some really daring, futuristic, incredibly weird directions if you dig into her albums. Self-titled, the How I'm Feeling Now project, the Vroom Vroom project, Pop 2. All of those albums are fucking strange, and I love how unafraid she is to make music that would easily scare away the radio-friendly, chart-topping audience that she also manages to draw in. This new album, Crash, though, is not going for that weirder stuff. Experimental side of Charli is not really on display with Crash, which is kind of a shame, I suppose. However, even though that is the case, I'm still finding myself really enjoying Crash, honestly. I think it's a lot of fun. It could be quite easy to chuck the Sellout label on Charli, like, oh, this album's, it's more digestible, it's more current, it's kind of 80s inspired, it's a more elementary pop record. But to be fair to Charli, it does sound a lot like plenty of care and love went into crafting these songs. I'm not saying it's my favorite of her albums, but I think even when you take away those weirder tracks, like the oddities that we love Charli for, taking that away, I still think Charli is an incredibly capable pop songwriter. She's very good at putting together an absolute banger. In my eyes, this record has got plenty of those. Twice, the closing track, easily a top 5 Charli song. I'm sorry. The melodies are just so prickly, and the hook and her energy on the hook is delightfully contagious. I think Baby is a treasure of a track too. The fierce and empowering strings make what would otherwise be like a funky throwback tune. They turn it into something bizarrely elegant and gorgeous. I'm not saying every song is a bursting success, but clearly plenty of passion went into this record. So I think calling it a phoned-in sellout album would be a little bit reductive. In my opinion, this is pretty quality. I rate it. We've got Nigo with I Know Nigo with an exclamation mark. We got to talk about Come On Let's Go. Come On Let's Go, the closing track to this album. This might be the best song of the whole month. This might be the best song of the whole month. I'm serious. This shit, it features Tyler, the Creator, who also has a production credit alongside Pharrell Williams on this track. He's got 2 verses. He's got a hook. It's basically a Tyler, the Creator song. Again, it's a Nigo song featuring Tyler, the Creator, but It's basically how they This album overall though is fucking weird. Like it's really normal, but that in a weird way makes it weird. Nigo has not released an album in 22 plus years. He is a fashion designer and a DJ. He is mostly known for his success with the Bape clothing line. I had actually never heard of the guy until this project. This comeback record, it's 11 tracks. They're quick, party-ready bangers featuring a massive list of features, some of the hottest names in contemporary rap music. It's kind of ridiculous. You got everyone from Tyler to Lil Uzi Vert to fucking Clips. What? Kid Cudi, ASAP Rocky, Pop Smoke. Like, this record does not play around with the features, but unfortunately, in my opinion, I don't think this album has much of an identity. It's simply aiming to be like a fun set of bops, and that's it, and there's nothing wrong with that, but in my opinion, the quality range here is just so bizarre. Like, there's this track Paper Plates with Pharrell and ASAP Ferg. It's a very just like obviously shit song. I'm sorry, like, nah, this song is unfinished. Like, the mixing is fucked. Like, Pharrell's high-pitched voice on the hook just sounds awful. I know he likes to do that on tracks here and there, but not here, man. It did not work for me. Like, everything about this song just sounds like it just shouldn't be the way it is. Most of the songs don't really make me feel much of anything, honestly. Tyler and ASAP track at the beginning was cool. The Kid Cudi track was really empowering, and again, that closer with Tyler was crazy. It's really just like a, oh, here's a collection of tunes, pick your faves. Simple as that, you know? It's more like a compilation. Next up, we have the new album from Rosalía, Motomami. Latin pop queen Rosalía has been getting more and more popular over the years with features with The Weeknd, Travis Scott, freaking James Blake. She pops up everywhere. On the Baby Keem album, she had an uncredited vocal thing. I've never personally been a huge fan of her albums though, but I did quite enjoy how scattered and fractured the music kind of was on this one. I think that more scattered approach lends quite nicely to the reggaeton sound that she goes for on this album. It's quite an audacious record, which I definitely admire. Her vocal presence is unignorable as per usual. Like, she's able to slip into sensual and soft tones with her voice so naturally, even if it was just coming after some of the most freakish performances she's ever put to record. There are a few tracks that I do think would benefit from maybe leaping out there to that off-kilter side of her sound a bit more. Like, Candy is a pleasant tune, but it did kind of sound like it was asking for a bit of a switch up. The Weeknd singing in Spanish on La Fama is obviously massively sexy, but the song itself has an instrumental loop that just quickly gets a bit tired for me, you know? Like, that main melody in the loop is a bit annoying, in my opinion. I think it gets a little stale. It's the zanier tunes, like Bizcochitos, cute with fucking 10 U's. Or the James Blake featuring Diablo. Those ones definitely stood out to me, because I think they're a bit more on that kind of quirky, zany edge. I found those ones to be a bit more on the wacky side, which I appreciate. I think Rosalía works nicely when she's just kind of going out there with a bit more outlandish stuff. For me, this album was a kind of hit or miss, but creatively, it's undeniably daring. Always unpredictable. Probably my personal favorite Rosalía album so far. Next up, we got the new Conway the Machine. God don't make mistakes. He's done it again. He's done it again, baby. Conway is a rapper from the Griselda crew who's been putting out albums every freaking year. He is a very consistent rapper with the releases, very prolific. Honestly, the first 3 tracks on this new project might be 3 of my favorite Conway the Machine songs to date. The squelchy, eerie loop on that opener is just hypnotizing, man. And then you got the Lil Wayne and Rick Ross verses on track 2, which are both outrageously good. The track Piano Love is in contention for my favorite hip-hop beat of the year so far. The way the piano keys on that song sound as if they're like falling down a giant tower, hitting every surface on the way down, forming the melody of the beat. It's fucking crazy. Amazingly enough, the quality of this album does manage to continue throughout. The line, I ride around with 2 things, that's Mac and a K. Is that a triple entendre for Guns, Mac Miller, and Mac and AK? Saying it's another good record from Griselda, at this point, it's just a given, you know? Like, the fact that they are all, except for you, still managing to release, like, quality new music so regularly at this level, at this bar, like, that's really impressive, you know? The features on this project hit, the sample selection is elite, the verses are penned with class, the storytelling is always engaging. If you're a hip-hop fan, you owe it to yourself to listen to this. Simple. Next up, I checked out the new Camo single, It Gets Lonely. Spotify's algorithm introduced me to this song. It's quite the sugar rush. I recognize the artist name from the immaculate Delete Zeke song, Home Switcher, so I knew I was in for something that could be, you know, up my street, something interesting. But what surprised me about this tune was just how the instrumental progressed. Like, it starts off with these like bubbly synths and video gamey kind of samples, these clanging loud drums, you know, your typical hyperpop starter pack. But by the end, like, the song had fully transitioned into some fucking nightcore drill and bass EDM shit. These colorful synth arpeggios just bridge together the first and second chorus in this really interesting way. The song structure here is a bit mad. It's on a mad one. Overall, yeah, I thought it was a pretty dope tune, you know. I appreciate the hyperpop scene. It's really managed to uncover a lot of young, creative talent that all have this exciting ear for the weird, and this song is no exception, man. I dig it. The next record in this video we will talk about is Gorilla Toss with their new album Famously Alive. Gorilla Toss have been making quirky rock music for a while now. I've checked out a few of their projects. They've never like landed 100% for me. I've not had like a favorite until now. I can't lie, this new one right here is a serious hit. Like, I think this is a fantastic album. They've spent earlier records like dipping their toes into electronic stuff, psychedelic stuff, poppier stuff, but here they just go entirely off the wall. Like, genre does not exist on this fucking album, bro. Like, it's a dazzling experience front to back. Like, it's a 33-minute long album, so it is quite short, but it's lightning fast. It just flies by. My favorite tunes on here, Wild Fantasy. That one sounds like a collab between Animal Collective and Sleat Akinney. Pyramid Hum was fucking crazy. The off-kilter and delightfully disorganized rhythm on this song was really mesmerizing to listen to. And my absolute favorite on the record has got to be the final track, Heathen in Me, which features some gorgeous piano work and the enlivening vocals from the lead frontwoman, Cassie Carson. Don't want to get the name wrong. Cassie Carson. Fantastic album all around. One of my favorites this year. Really recommend y'all check this one out. Next up, we got Vince Staples with his new single, Rose Street. He's back again, baby. New album in like less than 2 weeks. What the fuck? New Vince Staples album right around the corner. Love to see it. He's one of my favorite rappers, so I'm definitely excited. And based off of this song and the last single he dropped, Magic, and also the literal title of the new record, Ramona Park, broke my heart. Like, Vince is making a love letter to where he came from, his hometown, basically. Or at least like a homage, no pun intended. The beat on this one sounds like it honestly could have landed on his self-titled last year, though. Like, you know, I think Vince himself sounds a bit less defeated than he was on that project, but the beat sounds like something Kenny could have cooked up on that project. It's really bouncy, dusty, weirdly addictive, much like the beats on that self-titled were. The lines on this song he delivers towards this girl he's talking to, they're really entertaining in how candid they are. This is definitely Vince at his most playful, I think, lyrically. The bounce on this beat only manages to get like stronger as the song continues as well, and Vince finds new interesting ways to ride over the beat. Much like Magic, it's a really simple track, but it works for what it is, you know? It sounds like this new record is going to be more easygoing and passive, but I can see that really working for him at the same time, so I'm definitely excited. After that, we have Fennec with A Couple of Good Days. Now, I've been praising Fennec for a while. I've been talking highly of Fennec for a while on this channel. I think they're one of the best producers out in the realm of emotionally driven house music with a bit of a plunderphonics kind of edge, which admittedly is a sound that I am very much drawn to personally. This one, however, is a little bit wackier with the sound palette. I think this record communicates more of what sounds like laughing at the sadness after you've overcome it, like in retrospect and hindsight, whereas the previous project was him going through that sadness. You know, this one feels a bit more playful. There's something kind of cute and proud about the tone of this record. Like the opening track, Girl, using vocal samples, it manages to kind of tell a vague little story of another girl being in the picture, and he's like, oh, what the fuck? It feels like in this track, Fennec's answer to this happening is just simply, oh, well, whatever, let's groove. Like, it's an unashamedly happy energy that this album always has going on, which I really enjoyed. It's very contagious. There are some tunes where the grooves did get a little bit grating with some of the samples used, in my personal opinion, but that's just me, my taste, you know, it is what it is. And for the most part, I think it's a really entertaining album yet again. The grooves, they never really let up. Every single track is just a bouncy house tune. It's a very diverse and eclectic Fennec album too. It's the most diverse I think he's ever sounded, so I highly recommend it. My favorite tunes were Bounce, Girl, and B&B. Next up, we've got the new Lil G album, Detour. Jared, my guy. This is a mutual of mine on social media, on Twitter. His YouTube channel, The Tune Up, as well, is a delight to watch. I would suggest you go give that a look if you want some entertaining reaction content. He's a wonderful lad with one of the most contagious smiles in the game. But he's also an artist. He's a rapper. He's been putting in work for a while, actually. Detour, this is his 9th album, according to the trailer he put up. It's his 9th one. However, this is my first time giving a Lil G project a go upon seeing the promo he was putting out out for the project, I figured why not give it a try, give him a few streams, who knows, maybe I'll really enjoy it. Guys, listen to your friend's music. Go listen to your friend's music today, mate. Put aside 30 minutes to go check out your friend's new album. Support your peers, fam. We trying to make it. I can't lie. God is my witness. This album from Lil G genuinely is very, very catchy. I've come back to many songs on it numerous times, especially Eyez. Love that song. Didn't expect the production to sound so industry grade. Like, honestly, I guess with it being an independent release from someone I know on Twitter, it was easy for me to just kind of assume this could maybe sound a bit low budget or something. But like right away with the opening track, In the Mirror, I could instantly see this song. I could visualize this song popping off at a club, or on a Friday night drive into a night out or something, this song just blasting in the whip or some shit. I could hear this song going off right away. Like, Lil G is not a god tier lyricist, nor is he kind of trying to occupy that lane. His songs are hits through and through, and they're trying to be exactly that, and they work. I think he's got a good ear for it, you know, honestly. I think his biggest strength is for sure his hooks. The hooks all over this project are solid, man. Eyez, Pinto Benzo, and Sunset have all been firmly in my head for weeks now. They're all absolute earworms. This album knows when to get honest as well, though. The O2 Mac Miller on the project was a genuinely very sweet moment, even though the beat wasn't really my thing. I think the production was lacking a bit on that one. It sounded like the 808 was kind of out of tune or something, maybe. I'm not sure. The production isn't always for me. I'll admit that. But honestly, this is on par with most pop rap projects top on the charts these days, as far as I'm concerned. And it's performed from Lil G with a lot more conviction than I expected. You know, Jared is a very convincing and lovable presence on the mic, just as he is in the videos and on Twitter. He's just got a very natural charm to him, which I did love hearing on this project. So I did enjoy this album a lot, and I will continue to run it up going forward. What we got next? We got Amber Mark with the album 3 Dimensions Deep. This is an up-and-coming R&B singer who's been putting in work for a while, and this is her debut studio album. She's had a lot of big singles that have gotten us some buzz, but this is her debut like full album, and there is a lot to love about this album. I can see this being a frequent aux chord cheat code, man. The production is just super likable. It's very warm, layered. The drums knock. Her vocals are always pleasant. As far as contemporary pop R&B debut albums go, I think this one has more bops than average. There were several stunners across the track list. The lead single, What It Is undeniably good. It's got everything. It's catchy, it's soulful, it's just an amazing tune all around. The hook just really soars on that one. Foreign Things has an outrageous moment around the post-chorus, I think it was. There's like some stunning chords and pads that come in and they just flood the mix. That tune really had my jaw on the floor, actually. I thought Foreign Things was fantastic. I would say the full LP comes together decently well. It is 17 songs and 1 hour long though, and I never found any of the songs to be like intolerably bad or like completely skip worthy. Maybe like occasionally a bit dull. The highs though, they just shine so much higher than the rest, I guess. But I think with a bit of careful trimming, yeah, there's an amazing album, an amazing debut in here, that like a Kalela Take Me Apart tier debut. This could have been that, but unfortunately it is a bit bloated in my opinion. That doesn't mean it's not worth listening to though. I do think it is quite lovely for the most part. Next up, we've got the new Soul Glow album, Diaspora Problems. I did see the big man Fantano did drop a 9 out of 10 on this album, so this is going to get some buzz this year, I'm sure. I can't say I'm as hype on it, but I do think it is pretty dope. Like, for every moment this album made me go, okay, yeah, this shit is dope as fuck, there was another moment that made me roll my eyes and be like, I wish this album would just chill out a bit, slow down, calm it. It's a bit obnoxious at points. Like, this album has a serious, just give no fucks attitude, which is in no way a bad thing. You know, I do admire that, as, you know, of course, that is very much ingrained into the spirit and essence of punk music. It's aggressively heavy a lot of the time, this record. I guess the way this album goes about applying that attitude and the way they enforce it in the musicianship just isn't my personal cup of tea much of the time. The obnoxiousness of the "who gonna beat my ass" like on the hook on that first song, nah man, I just found it a little annoying. And you've got the horns too on the song Thumbsucker, which struck me as really goofy sounding personally. They just kind of clashed with the tone of the rest of the song in an awkward way that I don't really think fit. So the first half, I can't lie, it wasn't off to a good start for me. However, Driponomics, Driponomics, that's where things started to change a little bit, man. That's my favorite on the album. I thought that song was dope as fuck. The quality does keep up from there as well, though, but I loved that song. Mother Mary Rose has an amazing verse. An amazing fucking feature verse on that song. He would sound really good alongside JPEG Mafia, by the way. Need that collab. They managed to do a good job of keeping shit chaotic, but always keeping shit organized at the same time. Like, it never feels like chaos for the sake of chaos. Like, it's always got a good structure to it. The breakdowns on John Jay are like, they're timed so well. They're timed so perfectly. Like, that's such a fulfilling track. I like that one a lot. It's a dazzling track. There's the closing tune, which I did quite enjoy as well. Spiritual Level of Gang Shit. This is mostly just a really gorgeous mellow piece of jazz rap featuring some really sobering and gripping verses from McKinley Dixon and Lil G. They both do a great job. There's like a few brief moments on the song where like the guitar will just explode and just go crazy, and then it ends off with a massive riot. It's really satisfying the way it progresses. Overall, I guess I'm a bit conflicted. I think overall this is a really special, interesting, and exciting, dazzling album, so I would recommend giving it a go. I have got more positive things to say about it than negative, but I guess there are just a few moments that rub me the wrong way. But overall, yeah, thumbs up from me. Next up, we've got Placebo, Never Let Me Go. Alright. Man, this cover art is tragic though. Why is that the artwork, bro? What is that? Nah, man. Alright, Placebo are a fucking dope band. I like Placebo, man. Lovely to see that they're still knocking about making solid music, man. This album I thought was really good. I love listening to their first two albums, especially the second album. That second album is incredible. A lot of the qualities that draws me into those releases, though, can be found on this new project. The depleted, whining vocal tone of Brian Molko does have an eerie new feel on this album with the more industrial and mechanical kind of sound palette it's got going on. Like, it's drenched in that kind of like emo like heft, you know, the guitar tones on a Placebo album, they always hit in that way where it kind of feels like it's dragging you along with them through the slime and the mud. But now on this new album, it sounds like you're being dragged into like a human manufacturing factory where they build people and you're going to get fucking rebuilt into someone entirely new. There's like an eerie, uncanny valley-esque horror lurking beneath the verses and the music on this album that really allured me into the project. If I had to choose any gripe with this album, it probably would be the choruses. Quite often the hooks were a little grating or just like overly long. I think a few of the tracks here could really be stronger if they rework some of the refrains and choruses a little bit, but overall I think this is a really good record. It's a good piece of industrial grungy emo rock. My personal favorite tracks here were Forever Chemicals, Happy Birthday in the Sky, and the utterly bone-chilling This Is What You Want. Next up, I got the new Manny DM mixtape. I don't know how you pronounce that. I'm not a fucking football guy. The top legend himself, Lamar, aka Xenia, my hero. He informed the group chat recently that his boy had just released a new mixtape, his first mixtape, his boy being Manny DM, and I'm like, oh, lovely, another chance to support a mutually good guy. Support your friend's music, even if it's a friend of a friend. We all trying to make it, baby. We all trying to make it. I took it upon myself to save the project for me to try at some point down the line. I ended up trying it like 20 minutes later. This mixtape, if I'm honest, like I do think the cracks are there. It is quite clearly a debut project of someone with a lot of potential, which I know is a very annoying thing. As an artist myself, that could be a very annoying thing to hear. Like, oh, the potential is there. It's good, but the potential, yeah. Even though I did think that the quality here is there, it's undeniable. I think this mixtape is dope. Even after just one listen, I can tell this guy is a great MC. The beats here are a really exciting blend of drill, vintage soul sample driven hip hop, and also a little bit of like cloudy Pierre Bourne style trap beats. There are tons of football references as well that I totally understood, obviously. I got Daniel Sturridge, I knew that one. Regardless, I really enjoyed hearing them. They only serve to make every verse penned on this album feel all the more packed with honor and pride. It truly sounds like a love letter to everything that has made him. A big standout song for me here was Roses, one of the more immediately pretty instrumentals. It sounds straight out of the opening hour of Earthbound. The lines about feeling beaten down by the hands dealt by life, struggling to overcome that feeling of betrayal that can come with that. They were poignant, wonderfully delivered with a lot of conviction. Petit Filou, which isn't a yogurt, by the way. I don't know if y'all knew that. It's actually not yogurt. That was a wonderful song, a more spaced out low-key track that has some amazing chords on it, on the beat. A few Monty Booker-esque perks littered throughout the beat too, which is always nice. No Lay Lay personally takes the cake for my favorite beat on the album. In the back half of the the mixtape, I keep trying to say album. It's mixtape, sorry. I'm so used to saying album. I've been talking about all these albums. We have the songs Mum Said and Nocturnal on the second half, which show Manny DM at his most open and telling, ending things off on an appropriately very candid note. I think the tracks that most potently stick out as filler for me were probably Wings, What's Good, Won't Be Late, but that's just my opinion. Me being annoying and picky with my taste doesn't take away from the fact that I think this is a genuinely sick mixtape, and I'm excited to see what he comes up with next. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with it. Shout out Manny DM, man. Go give this guy a stream. Next up, we got Cities Aviv with Man Plays the Horn. Cities Aviv has been an interesting artist to watch for years, but I feel like he has still yet to top the intrigue and mystifying atmosphere that he created that permeated all across his very direct and moving 2017 album, Raise for a Better View. Still love that project today, man. His releases since that album have certainly gotten more experimental and daring, but rarely have I come away from them with as many memorable or exciting moments, and sadly that still continues to be a problem with this new record. This album, for one, is absurdly fucking long, which is a shame because I didn't enjoy it. So when it's long and I also didn't enjoy it, I'm like, bruh. I will say, even though it is very long, it's very varied and really unpredictable with the ideas it has across that runtime. But oftentimes, I guess this album just didn't give me anything to talk about. You know, a lot of the ideas that I enjoyed were just getting smothered by ideas I was not enjoying. Like, for example, on the opening track, or Cinema Club, both of those tracks have some lovely sound trickery, some hypnotizing soundscapes. It's getting me, I'm getting into it, but there'll be like a spoken word bit, or like loud shadowy drums, distorted rapping, whatever it is. It just pulls the life out of the core tunes that are on display with these songs that are drawing me into it, and I'll just get pulled out. It's like, it's a frustrating listen for me, sadly. You know, I don't say that happily. I do love Cities of Eve, you know, as a creative. You know, he's a very unique talent, and this album is further proof that Cities of Eve has a mind unlike anyone else, and for that reason I can't help, you know, continuing to give him a try. We'll keep my eyes peeled to see what happens next, but this one for me was a miss. Speaking of misses, yo, next up we got Machine Gun Kelly, Mainstream Sellout. Hey, yo, okay, when I first tried this album, yo, I made it to the second track. I made it to track 2, and I just got so pissed off and bothered. I'm like, no, I was like, you know what? Nah, I'm not doing this. We're doing another album. I'm gonna just skip this one. This one ain't gonna be good. Let's just skip this one. That second track was so fucking annoying, man. The hook was so bad. I'm like, the lyrics was so cringy. I'm like, how the fuck are you 30 plus years old writing this shit? Like, nah, what are you on, man? So I stopped listening to it. However, I did pick it up again a few days later, and I actually found myself enjoying the Bring Me the Horizon featured tune. Track number 3 is called Maybe. The lyrics were again very shit on that song, but as far as pop punk songs go, it was a bit of a rager. I won't lie. Like, the production, as glossy as it was definitely very, very blunt, fierce. It was striking me as a bit more mosh worthy. I guess it just kind of functioned pretty well for what it was going for, in my opinion. It was pretty effectively catchy, so I was like, okay, maybe there is something of value here for me. I can get a couple catchy hooks or something. Let me give it another go. I continue listening, and then I made it to the next track. My bitch is a drug dealer. I'm in love with the drug deal. Like, nah, I stopped again. I'm like, nah, we're not. That track 4 with Lil Wayne, drug dealer, I'm like, this is the trashiest shit. Nah, we ain't listening to this. Get this out of my ears. So I stopped. However, I did pick it up again a few days later. I picked it up again, and I heard the title track, Mainstream Sellout. And that song made me laugh so hard. What the fuck? That might be the funniest, like, fuck you haters song I've ever heard of. Some of these lines, man. Let me read you what he says, man. He goes, I heard the feedback. I'm a poser with a guitar and a choker. I made an album. They hate the track list. Like, what the fuck are you doing, mate? Like, man, why are you so pressed over these motherfuckers, dude? Jesus. It was hilarious. Obviously, his placement on the album is proper annoying, narcissistic. He's so fucking annoying, man. Like, oh, man, fuck this dude, man. Fuck this dude. Best part of my year so far is seeing him get slapped in the pool from Jackass. It was so bad and infuriating to the point where it was, in a weird way, beautiful and massively enjoyable. So then I was like, okay, maybe I can get some so bad it's good value out of this. Let me try it again. So I continue listening. I made it to the song Emo Girl, and I got so mad. I'm not, nah. No, I'm not continuing after that. I'm in love with the emo girl. What? You're not fucking serious, dude. I'm not doing this. I'm gonna just slap a 2 and call it a day. I'm not going back. What is next? Yeah. Next up, I listened to the latest album by Spoon, the band Spoon. Lucifer on the Sofa. This album through and through sounds like an experienced and very talented rock band being tasked with making 10 really good rock songs. And this is the result. I'm not super familiar with Spoon, but this project is impressive, if not just a little bit derivative. It is like a purely through and through rock and roll album. It ain't trying to be anything else. It's simple as hell and low key. There's some purity in that. Not a bad thing necessarily at all, because Spoon, they know what they're good at, and they've been doing it for years, so they do just provide some pretty exciting rock tracks here. I thought Devil and Mr. Jones was lovely. Astral Jacket had some really beautiful textures on it, you know. Overall, yeah, it's not the most wildly creative thing of all time, but, you know, you get what you're expecting, and it's very good. You can't get that, like, hyped up over this, like doing something super original and crazy, but you can't be mad at it either. It just hits all the right spots. Some good tunes here. Next up, I heard the new Chance the Rapper's single, Child of God. This is well and truly the most tolerable and earnest track that Chance has released in a long time. I'd say it's superior to any song from his last album. This feels way more like what the follow-up to Coloring Book should have sounded like. Chance's performance on the song is gorgeous. It's a lot more like reserved than his like typical more squawky kind of voice he does, you know. The music though here is really pretty. Generally strikes me as a very grateful song. The chords on this track are really soft, and the notes coming from this piano, there's organ, there's Rhodes, there's guitar. It all grows and blossoms into this heartening bouquet of bliss in the ending portion of the track. It's impressive how the song like escalates. Everything about it is relaxing and uplifting to listen to. Genuinely very uplifting ending to the track. It's a nice reminder that Chance the Rapper is quite a good artist and not terrible. Next up, I heard the new Destroyer album, Labyrinthitis. I was Destroyer pilled, I want to say around a year ago. I was never that huge on Destroyer. I always admired the man. You know, I appreciated Poison Season. Kaput has a few amazing songs, you know, but I want to say it was around a year ago I got truly pilled. What was the album? Man, Destroyer's Rubies. Oh, that's the one. That one right there. Do not sleep on how fucking good that album is. This new one might be the best Destroyer album I have heard. Maybe since maybe since. Man, I was gonna say Poison Season, but maybe even going further. But I might like this even more. Honestly, something about this one is hitting the spot. It's so sprawling. And that's the thing I fucking loved about Rubies, and also Street Hawk, A Seduction. Both of those albums, they are so pretty and sprawling. They're ever changing. They feel alive. Like this new one, Labyrinthitis, does not stick to one thing ever. It's always so dynamic, and the energy and just like sheer love for what's being played is shining through in every syllable that Dan Behar sings. The opener is an actual banger. 6 minutes 55 seconds. It doesn't waste a moment. It's always got something to pay attention to. It's one of the most bursting with energy and life Destroyer albums I've heard in ages. Definitely a lot less stagnant than the last one they put out was, which I did enjoy, but it just got a little tiring. But this one is just ideas left and right. It's beautiful. I'm really enjoying it. Then I listened to the latest from Bladee and Echo 2K, Crest. Another lovely entry in the Drain Gang canon here. I think I speak for a lot of us when I say this group, Drain Gang, they've been making increasingly more interesting music over the past few years. And that does not seem to be slowing down at all in regards to elevating the quality when it comes to this new album. It's no exception. But I will say, Crest is not quite as like banger focused as some other Drain Gang releases. You know, it's a bit more ambient and ethereal. You know, it's definitely a good combination of the styles here. You've got that glitchy, bubbly, cloudy kind of rap sound that Bladee brings, but then the more emotional, like otherworldly sort of atmosphere of Echo 2K. And those two sounds coalesce wonderfully here. The second track on this thing is so long. It's this sprawling, multi-part epic that at no point gave me what I was expecting from it. Desire is a trap, and The Flag is Raised also stood out as some big highlights. The chemistry between these two is really as sharp as you can imagine it. Next up, I got the new Denzel Curry album, Melt My Eyes, See Your Future. I'm not going to be talking too much about it in this video because I have got a review with my guy Dan Kingston. Tune in to our review of the new Denzel Curry that will be coming up soon. Please go subscribe to my boy, he's a legend. But I'll quickly say in this video, just briefly, I do think this is a quality album, and Denzel did something impressive with this project. You saw the other roundups, I was a little mixed on the singles. I wasn't exactly too sure how to feel. I thought they foreshadowed maybe a bit of a mixed bag, but I can't lie, it came together pretty well. This album right here, hey man, it's probably one of his stronger projects. And if you want to hear me go in a bit more depth about why that is the case, what my issues are, what my likes are, you can again watch the review coming soon. Next up we have the new Jaron album. It's hard to see color when you're so impossibly far away. Mate, you did not just take two of my favorite artists, Porter Robinson and Breakins, and just merge them. Like, what the fuck? This album sounds like that. It's crazy. And this kid is fucking 18 years old, bro. Like, man, like I was saying earlier, the young skill we are hearing in the emo hyper pop type scene, like they're really bringing out some young lads who are fucking amazing at this shit. And yeah, this guy Jaron is really good, bro. I do think the lyrics are a bit shit. Some of them, and even the songs I like, the lyrics are they sound a little rushed. They fail to really stir much within me, and you know, I don't really get much of an image when I hear the words, but the music here is very much my thing. Glitchy as hell, textured as hell, really bright glistening future bassy pads, and the vocals from Jaron are super drenched in that like emo angst. That giant Only for a Moment song is a serious fucking journey. It's like 11 minutes, but it's like mostly build up, and it's just constantly growing and blossoming and building. It's so beautiful. The little plucks and shit, the vocals stuttering, it sounds incredible. Eyez 222 is one of the catchiest fucking tunes I've heard all year. The beat on Now Never would go absurdly hard in a live club context, and 743 Ether goes through so many crazy shifts. It feels like a 10-minute long fucking epic when it's only 4 minutes, just through how much is packed into the song. Overall, it's a super impressive and creative body of work, and I'm definitely going to keep my eye out for this dude going forward. Next up, I got the new Haunted Disco single, Down the Well. Speak and Spell Records artist. You know, I've also released on Speak and Spell Records myself, so I'm affiliated with Haunted Disco. She's a very talented musician, and this new track right here was delightful, man. Kind of keeping in line with the usual aesthetic of Haunted Disco. You got the kind of like lo-fi sort of recording, you know, distorted guitar work. Vocals are a little bit muffled here. The mixing has that kind of roughness, but it allows the melodies to really start piercing through effectively, and I thought the way this song grew and exploded in the end with the guitar work was super cool. Definitely one of the more satisfying, just like set up, build, and execute kind of structures I've heard in a Haunted Disco track. And if this is a sign for what's coming down the line, if there's a new project on the way, then I am going to be there 100%, because this might be actually one of my personal favorite Haunted Disco tracks. Next up, I got the new Kilo Kish record, American Girl. Kilo Kish been having my attention ever since that Redux EP. That's a banging EP right there. Her most recent full-length album, and it does come with the same bounce and zest and just general energy and spunk that EP did kind of suggest that she had in her back pocket. Some of the production on here is so damn creative and strange. There's hypnotizing, like swirling vocal stutters going on the track Death Fantasy that I find really mesmerizing. You got the freaking dubstep-ish like bass squelches on the track with Vince Staples. The Vince Staples feature went over really well. Obviously they've collaborated a lot over the years, so it's no surprise that their chemistry is on point. Gene Dawson has a great feature too on the track Choice Cowboy, one of my favorites right there. The title track was banging. I did like the track with Jesse Boykins the third as well. All round, man, this is a really exciting experimental pop album, just bursting with ideas, you know. And Kilo Kish is just continuing to make some really cool shit ever since that Redux EP. I think she's been a real artist to watch. Just a whole bunch of fascinating production choices going on here. I would really recommend it. And finally, we have the new Flume single Sirens featuring Carolyn Polachek. This song flat out blew me away. I think this is one of the most fascinating songs Flume has ever made. And I'm really happy to say that, because I was a little worried after that first Say Nothing single. I thought that was a little tame by Flume standards, but I've been brought all the way back with this new single. I'm really excited for the new Flume album. If there's any more music on it sounding like this straight up sounds like a freaking spiritual future bass odyssey. The way he uses Carolyn's voice to carry the melody of this track is utterly like jaw-dropping. She sounds so ethereal and freaking, she sounds like her voice is coming from space, and then when the drums kick in, it is the most hair-raising holy shit moment. Like I just, it makes my whole body just stand still. My whole all my organs are just like, yo, what? And my heart just stops beating for a minute. It's crazy. And I guess like that's the power of Carolyn's voice sometimes, man. I swear she just has this huge, just like overwhelming kind of presence to her, and Flume uses that to its advantage 1000%, because the sound design and the drums surrounding her vocals, it just creates for this weirdly like spiritual like experience. Like I just feel like my soul is leaving my body every time I hear this song and just ascending to some higher fucking plane or some shit. Like it just sounds so like beyond what I am able to comprehend. Like when I hear it, that's how it feels, man. It's like, man, as far as just song structure, sound design, like the guest appearance, how it all comes together, the song craftsmanship here, fucking S tier, man. S tier. Absolutely love this track. One of my favorite songs of the year for sure. And there we go, man. That's the roundup. That's March 2022. Hope you guys are enjoying these roundup videos. I'm actually having a lot of fun putting these together, as it's a nice easy way for me to get my thoughts out on everything I do get to check out. Because if I went back to like my original just like album review kind of format, where I'll make a whole video about the album, give it a score, like just the usual kind of format, I would miss out on covering so much stuff that I do get around to listening to. So this roundup format allows me to kind of get around to everything and give it, you know, like a little paragraph, give it its fair treatment. I don't want to like, you know, just gloss over an album. You know, every album's got there's plenty to say about any given album or song. So I think this format allows me to give all my thoughts that I want to get across, put it out there in one video, and also cover everything I do listen to. So yeah, I hope you guys are liking this. I do plan on trying to weave in the B-Tech playlist videos, bring those back a bit, you know. But yeah, it's all a process. So just for now, I hope you guys have just enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on whatever the next one ends up being. And just have a great day. Just enjoy your day, relax, take some time for yourself, take care of yourself. And yeah, man, I love y'all. Have a wonderful rest of your day, week, all of that. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.